Hi, welcome to Rita's Rescues. I'm Rita. This is my sidekick, Pumpkin, and we're here today to tell you about our show, and we want you to know that it's really important that you learn everything you can about your animals, how to feed them, how to take care of them, and when I adopted Pumpkin, I rescued her from a local shelter. And I began learning everything I could, and I decided I wanted to share it with you. So each month we'll be sharing a little bit of what you can do to take care of your rescued or adopted animals. And remember, don't shop, adopt. Hi, welcome to Rita's Rescues. I'm Rita, and I'm here today with Deb Howard from SAAP, and I have my sidekick Pumpkin over there. She decided to stretch out on the couch. And Deb has brought a beautiful little boy here named Hardy. And Deb, tell us a little bit about Hardy.
Okay, Hardy is about 8 to 10 weeks old. He is Australian Shepherd and Great Pyrenees mix.
Wow.
Yep, and there was a litter of 7, and I'm fostering 4 of them. Yeah, that's a big litter.
Wow.
I'm fostering 4 of them, and another foster is doing 3 of them.
Wow. Well, he is so laid back and beautiful.
He is. I believe the breed is usually like that. That's kind of one of their known traits.
Oh. So you've been on with us before.
I have.
You and Bob have been here, and we've talked about SAAP, but there's so much to talk about with rescuing animals.
Right.
And I wanted to hear about some of the things you've been doing lately, and some of your community involvement, your volunteering. So what's the latest going on with SAAP?
Okay, well, I'll start out by explaining what we do. We're an all-volunteer organization. I know you know a lot of this, Rita, but we do not have a shelter or a facility, so to speak. What we do is we have all the dogs in our home. They're fostered in homes, all volunteer, nobody gets paid, nonprofit, and basically that gives us a chance to assess the situation with, especially with the older dogs. Puppies have kind of a clean slate, but it gives us a chance to see, you know, the older dogs, if they're dog fearful, if they're afraid of, believe it or not, sometimes they're afraid of all different things. Some are afraid of men. Some of them not good with children, they're just too nervous. So when they are fostered in homes, it gives us a better chance to place them in a home. You know, we might say this dog's a little bit nervous. He needs to be with kids above, you know, 5 years old, or even some of the bigger breeds are so sweet, but they're very playful and they might be too rough for a toddler.
Yeah.
It just gives us a better opportunity to assess their, you know, their demeanor and how they react, and just you place them in homes and you get a better rate that way of people keeping them. You know what I'm saying? People return dogs for all different reasons, but if you start out trying to get them in a home that is basically going to suit what the people want, your return rate is a lot less.
Right.
And ours is well below the national average.
Yeah. Now, how do people go about adopting with you? I mean, what is the criteria?
Okay, basically you have to fill out a dog application and, you know, give references, things like that, and we have certain questions and things on the app, and then we approve or deny it. And of course, you know, we're going to try to approve them. We want these guys to get good homes.
Yeah.
And after that, you can either, there are several ways. You can walk into one of our events and do it that way. Hi, sweet pea. Or else you can do an online app, and a lot of people do that, and that's a great way. We always tell people, if you get pre-approved, that gives you a chance to watch our website, and we're even on Pet Finder, and gives you a chance to watch the website until a puppy or an adult or whatever you're looking for catches your eye. You're pre-approved. Many people wait and they watch it, and then they fill out the app, they send it in. Well, meanwhile, somebody with an approved application has already scooped that puppy or that dog up.
Yeah.
So we say, go to adoptastray.com and fill out an app. We get your app, and then we have you meet the dog, the puppy. There's no pressure. Filling out an app does not, lock you into anything. I know. Basically, all it does is get you, where you need to be a little bit sooner.
Yeah.
And then if it's a match, if you love that dog, if you, want to have that puppy, then we need you for about another 5 to 7 minutes of paperwork, filling out a contract, stating that if for any reason you ever have to rehome the pet, it will always come back to us. Not only do we take SAAP dogs back, we insist on it.
Yeah.
So they don't end up in a bad situation or in a shelter. So
I think that is a great thing that you all do, that a lot of places, I have a friend at work who adopted a dog, and she's had nothing but problems since
I'm
she's
sorry
had
to
it.
hear that.
And so what would you tell someone if they're looking, like, at several different rescues? How do you know that the group that you're adopting with is going to do the right thing, and that the dog will be healthy, and the fact that you all will take them back?
Correct.
I think says a whole lot about
I
your
agree.
group.
And that is one of the reasons I got involved in SAAP, is because we stand by these animals. We put our money, our love, our time into them. I mean, I adore my fosters. I just can't imagine them ending up in a shelter because somebody decided they didn't want them anymore.
Yeah.
And after, our blood, sweat, and tears go into them, they just drop them off at a shelter. And unfortunately, sometimes they give them to a neighbor who then lets them run loose and all that, which
Yeah.
is another reason we say don't give them away. Not only do we tell you we want them back, we insist. I mean, you are not allowed to drop that dog off at a shelter or give it away for any reason. We will always accept that dog back and take care of it. And all of our dogs, before they leave SAAP, they are vet checked. They receive shots, immunizations, they are microchipped, they are spayed or neutered, they are given flea and tick medication, and so to our knowledge they are in the best of health. Of course, nobody has a crystal ball and can see into the future. 2 months later down the road, sometimes animals get sick, a year, whatever, but we do the best we can to ensure that we are adopting out healthy animals.
Yeah.
Another thing, like I said, we do have the contract stating it has to come back. I would say one of the things to look for definitely is if my life situation changes and for any reason I need to rehome this animal, will this rescue stand by it and take them back? Are they, to their knowledge, are they giving out only healthy animals? We've kept dogs in our program for months at a time to get them healthy.
Yeah.
And another thing is, if a rescue is making a ton of money, they're not, I don't know how, because like I said, we're all volunteers, and we're a nonprofit, and we cannot even get by on adoption fees alone. We have to have fundraisers and things like that. And I think somewhere along the line, some people have got the idea that rescues are getting rich. I can guarantee you, if you're doing it right, you're not getting rich.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, yeah, I would definitely look for that. Will they stand by the animal?
I think that's a really important part.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will be back in a few minutes, and we will talk more with Deb Howard from SAAP. Stay tuned.
Grab a My Furry Valentine volunteer. Get your tickets $5 for $5, $12 for $10.
Oh my God.
Hi, welcome back to Rita's Rescues. We're going to talk some more with Deb Howard here. Hardy, he's still chilling out here. 8 weeks old and so calm and collected. He's adorable.
He really is a good pup.
He really is.
Yep.
So now I'm watching you, and we all kind of do this with our dogs,
Yes.
the petting and all that. And I've read many articles about how it calms people down. Good for your blood pressure.
Absolutely. Lowers blood pressure.
Depression.
Yep.
All of that. I mean, I know I always feel better when I have my puppies in my lap and petting on them. So I know some of the things you've done in the past is community outreach, and you've gone
Yes.
places taking your animals to help other people. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay. Well, we do have a program called Community Outreach, and I am the Community Outreach Coordinator, but I certainly do not do it alone. We have some wonderful volunteers. There's several gals that go once a week, well, once every other week to a rehabilitation center slash, I guess, retirement home. They go every other Monday. They take either puppies. One thing I want to point out, puppies cannot go on the ground unless they've had all their shots. So we do have to be real careful about that. If we take puppies, we have to hold them in our arms, things like that. But a lot of these people take their own pets. I've taken mine. And we just go around from room to room and maybe, you know, peek our head in the door and say, would you like a visit? And it's never forced or anything like that. If the people are not up for it, it's fine. But they clamor. I mean, they love it.
Oh, yeah.
They light up. You should just see the joy that it brings. And so Denise and Julie are really doing a great job as far as that. And then I also want to point out another program that we have too that falls under community outreach, and that is actually taking puppies, dogs. Again, puppies can't touch the ground, so they're done on a limited basis.
Now, elaborate on that. Why?
Okay, because they have not had their full round of shots. Now this puppy's had 1 round of shots, and that's all that Hardy can have at this age of his life. You know, you can't give him all at once, so in a few more weeks he'll get a few more, and then a few more weeks he'll get another set until he's had his full round. But until he's had the full round of shots, any dog that's gone anywhere like a pet store, a dog park, I would even just stay right around your own neighborhood, you know, in your yard, and maybe, you know, the neighbors or somebody you know. But if there's any unhealthy dogs out there, they can pick these things up. So until they get their full round of shots, they can get very sick being out in public. I unfortunately a few weeks ago saw a darling little puppy, 8 weeks old, walking around the grounds on Finley Market, and I spoke to the person and said, you know, you might want to pick that dog up, and she commented, oh, she's already had her shots, but they haven't had their full round. So please understand, you need the entire round.
All right.
So that's why when we do community outreach, you know, we try and take puppies when we can, but depending on where we're going, sometimes we have to take the older dogs. We have a really neat program run by Brad, and he goes to like NKU. And during testing week, when they have their finals and things like that, students are very stressed. That's a stressful time. So they set up in like the library or somewhere like that, and in between classes and testing, they come, the students and even the teachers and that come pet animals.
Wow.
The feedback is phenomenal from this
bet it
program.
is.
We are getting so many thank yous, so many people saying, that's what got me through that week, and I was so uptight, and that really helped me relax and be better prepared, and you know, it centers you somehow.
Yeah, it really does, yeah.
And so there's that program, and I've talked in churches, Boy Scout troops, Girl Scout troops. Basically, Rita, I will go anywhere somebody will listen to me talk about spay and neuter, responsible pet ownership. Unfortunately, a lot of time in the schools, I hear these kids giving their dogs a lot of, my dog loves Cheetos, Doritos, chocolate, ice cream. That's terrible.
Yeah.
These pets should not be eating that kind of stuff. It is so not good for them. And especially, and I want to point out this to everybody, no cheeseburgers and anything grease. Grease has a way of working itself into their system and giving them pancreatitis, which is very serious. So please stay away from that kind of stuff. There is a few things they can have, baby carrots, things like that, green beans.
Vegetables.
Correct, but not even all vegetables. If you feel like there's something you want to feed your dog, speak to your vet, or even Google it and see what things like grapes, onions are so toxic.
Oh yeah.
So yes, be careful. So basically that's what community outreach is. It's bringing joy to people by taking the dogs, but it's also trying to help educate them so they can make better decisions for their pets.
Now, how can other people get involved with that? If they would
That's
like
a great
to do
question, Rita, because we are always looking for volunteers. We take youth volunteers 14 and up, simply because of liability issues. The younger children sometimes are impulsive in that, and it's just better for everybody concerned if they're a little older. We have youth volunteers helping at adoption sites, walking the dogs, helping clean cages, just basically doing a few little things here and there. And then we have adult volunteers, we have fosters, we can always use transport, we can use anybody that really, there are so many things. You can do as much or as little as you'd like. You can give up one weekend a month, or I'm sorry, one adoption event a month. You can do it every weekend if you like. But you go to SAAP at adoptastray.com and fill out a volunteer app.
Okay, great. Well, hopefully we'll have some people that would be interested in helping you out.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah. Now, you say 14 and up. I think, usually you hear 18 and up.
Right.
So I'm really happy that, you're able to take them that young.
Right.
Kids love animals.
Absolutely.
And it's a good way for them to learn.
It is. You bring them in and you are educating and training the next generation volunteers.
Yeah.
The people that are going to be helping foster and taking care of these little guys.
Yeah.
So, we love our youth volunteers.
Yeah, great. And you have lots of events going on all the time, every weekend.
Right. We have adoption events.
How many places
Well,
do you have now?
we have several Petco locations. We have 2 Pet Supplies Plus locations, and we have our SAAP station location, which is in the strip mall over by NKU. So, and we are so grateful for our partners, the people that open their doors to us to let us hold their adoption events. There's another opportunity to volunteer. We need coordinators. We need people to help with paperwork. You can become as little or as much involved as you'd like to be.
Yeah, all right. All right, well, thank you, Deb, and we will talk some more as soon as we come back. So stay with us, and we will be back in a few minutes.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Hi, welcome back. We're sitting here talking with Deb Howard today from SAAP, and we have a beautiful little boy here named Hardy. He's 8 weeks old. He's a rescue. He's from a litter of 7. And when you go to rescue an animal and you're going to adopt, there's a whole lot of things you need to know first.
Right.
It's not all about them being cute and let me pet you and love you. So why don't we talk a little bit about that?
I would love to, Rita, and I'm so glad you brought that up. One thing I'd like to touch on is when you're adopting a puppy, and we touched on this a little bit in the beginning about, fosters and getting the puppy that's right for your household. Make sure if you are a laid-back household, you get a puppy that's not a high energy. You don't want one of the herding breeds. You don't want one that needs to be run, quite a bit and things like that. But by the same token, if you're an active household, You might not want a couch potato. You want somebody that's going to
Right.
play with the kids and get out in that yard and all that. So do your research. And the one thing I'd really like to touch on, and this is very, very important to me, is train your puppy correctly. If you are having issues, address them. Please seek a professional if you need to, or at least research tips. The one thing I cannot stress enough is they're only going to be a puppy a short time.
Yeah.
Train them then. There's your window of opportunity. Do not wait until they're an adult and things are out of hand to say, oh, I wish I'd have done, you know, this, or do it now. When you invest in them now, you will have an awesome dog for the rest of its life.
Right.
And depending on the breed, you're going to have a dog, you know, the older dogs, 8, 10, 12 year, I'm sorry, the bigger dogs, and the smaller ones live into their teens and all that. So you want to ensure that you're going to train them properly and, you know, give them a good foundation, a good beginning.
And they're happier too when they're well
Absolutely.
trained. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think too what you touched on about educate yourself before you pick out a breed. You know, like he is so laid back. He's 8 weeks old.
I know.
You'd think he'd be all over the place. But it's because of the type of breed he is.
Correct. That has a lot to do with it. Now, he
Yeah.
does play with his siblings. He was running around and playing with toys. But by
Right.
no means are these guys, you know, hyper and the real constant go, go, go like some of the other breeds are.
Well, like my Miss Lily I had from you. Now
Yes.
that's high energy.
Right, exactly. Oh,
which
yeah.
is what I wanted when I decided I wanted a Yorkie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really important to know that and know your environment. If I have a
Right.
little house, so I wanted
Yes,
a little
yes,
dog.
that is
this
right.
is a Great Pyrenees and an Australian Shepherd. They
Gonna be
need
big.
room. Yeah.
Right, going to be big.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a very valid point. The other thing is I want to touch on a little bit too is if it is a mixed breed, which I love mixed breeds.
Yeah, I do too.
I have no problem with that. I know there are a lot of people that insist on getting a purebred dog, and you know that may be a subject for another time. But the one thing I want to say is I look at these guys, and their life to me is no less valuable than a purebred dog.
Oh, yeah.
Some people have it that, well, you know, it's a mutt and all that, but I'm here to tell you they are some of the most loving, wonderful animals you will ever meet. And to me, their lives are every bit as valuable.
Oh, absolutely. And what are your feelings about spay and neutering?
Absolutely get it done. There are so many reasons not.
And what are some of them?
I mean, so many reasons to do it and not any, as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned, not to have that done. For one thing, their health is better, especially the males. They are less likely to get certain types of cancer. They are less likely to be aggressive or territorial with other male dogs. They are less likely to wander, you know, to try and get out, especially your hounds who
Yeah.
are governed by their nose. Even when you have a fenced-in yard, some of these dogs, you know, can smell a female and hate somebody, might not have theirs, and their mission in life is going to be to get out.
Yeah.
So there's really no reason not to. I am absolutely 100% about spay and neuter.
Yeah.
And I'd like to touch a little bit, if you don't mind, on cats, because cat populations get out of control.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know that one set of cats, a male and a female, in 7 years, they can produce, by way of offspring, their offspring's offspring, 420,000 cats, kittens, yes, in a 7-year
Wow.
period. Now, granted, some of them will, you know, there's prey out there, cars get them, which is another reason not to let your cats out. Their life expectancy of an outdoor cat plummets. It plummets. But if you do, please get them spayed or neutered, because they are out there just breeding, and it's not a good thing. I mean, you do the math.
Right.
That is a problem.
Yeah.
And so I'm also very much for trap, neuter, return of adults to feral colonies, as long as they're being maintained and people are feeding them. You know, that helps the colony peter out without just keep on reproducing and that and things like that. So again, that gets back to involvement too. Find out if you don't have a lot of time to give. Can you help out somebody with a feral colony? Hey, I can go 1 day a week and drop off some food and water and maybe do some trap, neuter, and return.
Now, when you say help people with feral colony? What do you mean?
Well, SAAP does not do this, but there are people out there. Google it. You know, look if you want to get involved in that. There are organizations that do that, that help try and keep the population down in the feral cat communities. Things like that. We cannot be all things to all people, but I know that a lot of people are getting on board with spay and neutering dogs, but cats and kittens, it's still a real problem, Rita.
Yeah.
It really
No,
is.
I didn't know about that. That's interesting. Okay. And then, what kind of information can you share about how do you decide what you're going to feed your dog?
That is that's a good question, actually, and that is one. You know, my husband and I have tried different things and all that, and we have a certain brand we like. I do believe in discussing that with your vet. Your vet can tell you, you know, certain breeds need to watch certain things and all that. And I have 4 dogs of my own, and I have just talked to my vet about some of them are getting older. Do I need to go to senior food? And she said, absolutely. She said they don't need as many calories and things like that. So I would say talk to your vet. See what your vet has to say about that. But you don't necessarily have to buy the highest quality, you know, most expensive food out there. Don't buy the least either. I mean, try and find a happy medium. Try and find a company that's been in business for a while. Things like that. You can also do your research on that.
And your vet is the one to talk to about that. You know, how much, whether it's hard food or the canned food.
Correct. And, you know, different dogs, again, have different nutritional requirements. Talk to your vet. But the one thing I do have to say is a lot of vets, you know, we tend to, we equate food with love. We are tending to overfeed our animals and things like that. So better to err on the side of less. And then if the dog's still hungry and not getting enough, add a little bit more. But a lot of times they'll tell you to go by the chart on the back. But start out on the lower end. If it says 3 to 4 cups, start with 3. Don't start with 4. You know, dogs will overeat if you let them. They're opportunists.
Well, it has really been a joy to have you here today. And
Rita, it's always a pleasure.
And I so appreciate what you and Bob and all your volunteers are doing to help our animals. And speaking of volunteering, we want to let them know they can get a hold of you if they want to volunteer.
If you want to volunteer, if you need a visit from community outreach, anything like that, please email us at sap@adoptastray.com. And SAAP is SAAP. It stands for Stray Animal Adoption Program.
Okay. Thank you so much. And Hardy, I hope you find you a wonderful home. And you are adorable.
He actually has an approved app. He has somebody waiting for him.
Yay! Thank you all for joining us, and I hope we have given you some information that'll be useful to you when you rescue a dog or a cat. And remember, don't shop, adopt, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.